did you guys ever feel like quitting in that year where you dropped 40K? Let's say you were 20 G's deep and you didn't get a deal. Did you guys think about, shoot, maybe we should stop this because I'm already 20K deep?
No, but my wife almost forced us to quit. So she was looking at the numbers, not every month, but about every quarter, going, "What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?" And we did a deal, and she goes, okay, we'll do it again. No, I never had any intentions of quitting. I mean, I was, it was sort of, we got to do this. We got to do it. We got to be successful. We got to figure it out.
Helping hardworking real estate investors, agents, and entrepreneurs grow a better business, mindset, and future. This is the Carrotcast podcast. Now here's your host, Trevor Mock.
What's up, y'all? Coming at you with a special edition of the Carrotcast. Number one, it's just me and another person. Now we've got 4 or 3 of us on this podcast, which I'm very, very excited about it. So 2 amazing guys down from Texas, Dallas, Texas. Adam, I had a chance to meet at the last Carrot Camp. And someone's popping in here. When's the next Carrot Camp? They're always May and September. So we will have them, assuming that the world's not completely like crazy at that point in this next one. But we're always having them in May and September. And at the last Carrot Camp, Adam Mitchell was up there, and he was up there giving his presentation, his session. And we always want people to kind of give context, like, where are you now? Where'd you come from? What's some things that are working amazingly well? And one of the things that I absolutely loved about it is it's like the perfect story, the perfect version of someone who executes the plan and it works, right? Like, execute the plan and it actually works. And we'll share with you exactly what he did before on the real estate marketing side that didn't work very well for him, where he dropped about $40,000 in doing like all the marketing, every type of marketing you guys probably look at and see everyone doing. He did them all. And he got one deal out of it. We'll talk about what marketing he did, why it didn't work. And then he made a big pivot, a big shift. And that's the biggest part we're going to focus in on, is what shift did he make? And then in that shift, how did it turn into an amazingly thriving business that's doing dozens of deals now, that's doing multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. And they're starting to build an amazing thing. So I'm going to introduce the two gentlemen on here that are the owners of Home Buying Guys. We were talking about House Buying Guys. It's another Carrot Camper. But Home Buying Guys, we've got Mr. Adam Mitchell and Lance Doty. Appreciate you guys hopping on the Carrotcast.
Yes, sir. Trevor,
be here.
having us. And I have to tell you, this is definitely something that's been on my bucket list for probably 4 years. And so I'm going to check that off today. So I appreciate it and looking forward to this.
Dude, I love it. And there's some good questions coming in. So if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or watching the YouTube version of it, this first one we're doing live, so we might pick a couple questions out of here. But Mark says, what market are you in? So we're going to dive right into that. Let's give people a little bit of context before we dive into the meat of how you guys completely turned that business around into one that was losing tens of thousands of dollars because of marketing that wasn't working, into one now that's bringing in evergreen leads and cranking it. But what market are you guys in? What's your guys' business setup? That was something before we hit record. I absolutely loved what you said, Lance, about how you guys became business partners. But what business are you in? What is the main focus of your business? So you flipping, wholesaling, and let's talk about how the business started.
Yeah, so we are, let me give you a little bit of background real quick. So I've been in real estate part-time with rental properties and flipping houses for probably 15 years. And so all the houses I flipped over those years were all for rental. So 25, started that, bought several, sold some, then took a long break, got married, had kids, and then that fast forwards up to about 2016. I went to Lance and said, "Hey man, I want to get back into it. Let's get into real estate again. I've got the experience. You can be the sales guy. Let's flip a house." And I couldn't figure out how to find the deals, because before then, when I was younger and when I was finding houses for rental, you could go in MLS here and find whatever you wanted. If you wanted 3 houses in this neighborhood, you just pick what you want. It was that easy.
Yep.
The inflood of people moving to Texas and Dallas, Fort Worth specifically, had not happened yet. and there were more houses available than there were people to buy them. And so there were deals everywhere in every city that you can imagine. And I just thought it would always be like that.
Yep.
That, that was not the case. So we flipped the house in 2016. It was terrible. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. After that, I said, Lance has got a great story real quick on that. But after that, we decided, hey, let's figure out how, because we ran across the term wholesaling. So we started researching that. But Lance mentioned that story when we were flipping Boulevard about the foundation, because that was a cool moment and a cool teaching moment for me. But tell them about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that are listening and that end up on this podcast are people that wanted to get into real estate. And it's not that I didn't want to get into real estate, but I like to coin myself as like the anti-real estate hero, I guess, because I'm literally a product of just being Adam's best friend. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so for more reasons than one, we would have lunch every Monday and we would talk about a million things. Adam was having babies at the time, so he had all weekends of research strategies and what he wanted to do and lists. And my kids are much older, and we have a little more flexibility at that time. So I'm typically hungover or just trying to figure out what's going on that week. And Adam always is hitting me with where I need to be personally, what we could do professionally. And I'm just like, I'm just trying to eat a cheeseburger, Yeah. But so he put this first flip on me, and it was all his deal. He let me basically just ride his coattail. I watch enough HGTV to know I wanted to see what it was like, and it was hard. I'm an emotional roller coaster. It's why I'm successful. It's why I'm Adam's best friend. We're complete opposites in every facet. And so the first day, we get this deal. We get the house under contract. I mean, and within hours of Adam owning this property, he's got contractors coming through. Yep. And it was, I don't know if that was Adam's first hard money loan, but it was his first one in 10 years, right? And so he'd filled out his little budget, and we knew $1,500 was going towards foundation, right? Yep. Well, he did that fluidly, thinking he could change it once he knew the actual number, which we've learned that lesson. However, the $1,500 budget came in at what, 24,000 that day? I mean, it was ridiculous. And I have no more feeling in my feet or toes as I'm watching my friend's nest egg just dwindle away. And I know his wife well enough to know how that conversation is going to go tonight. And so he literally looks at me, and I have no color in my face. I have no feeling in my toes. And he goes, "Dude, it's going to be fine. That was just one of many quotes we will get. That's how this whole thing will go." And I'm like, "What do you mean? We're going to be 18,000 above budget on everything? How does that work?" He goes, "No, but welcome to flipping houses." And, long story short, he loves telling that story because I can now go in and rehab budget anything on the fly. But in that moment, I had no experience, and $1,000 might as well have been $1 million to me at that time in my life. Yep. And so him watching the blood rush out of my face as we got to quote $18,000 over what we had budgeted for that particular item is one we love to tell.
So did you guys, how did the deal work out? Did you guys sell it? Did you guys profit from it? Take it in the shorts? What did you guys do?
No, we took it in the shorts. We lost about 15 on that. We fired 2 contractors. We struggled, limped along to the finish line, but the house looked great. I mean, it looked great. And we use that a lot in our marketing, the pictures from that house. But no, we're still paying for that marketing.
Oh, man. So you guys did that first deal there. How'd you acquire that deal, I guess? Where'd the lead come from? How'd you find out about it?
Yeah, and let me just mention this for everybody that's listening to. So I kind of run the business from, the office and do all the marketing back end stuff. Lance is our sales guy, acquisitions manager. He also manages our investor relationships right now. So he's out beating the street, looking at houses, talking to investors, and I'm trying to put as many leads in front of him as I can, because I know that, if we are looking at more leads than anybody, we're going to win more, because Lance is the best at closing deals. So that's kind of how our relationship works. And then we also have our wives as a part of our business. My wife does the design work on our flips, cool. Does some accounting and writes contracts. And then Lance's wife, Rachel, does all our social media marketing. So that's kind of our dynamic.
Yep. Well, dude, so yeah, before we dive into the deal details, for sure, one thing did pop up is, and I don't know the answer to this now. I think I do, but when you're up here before, this is something people don't realize. You still have a full-time job, right? Do both
Yes.
of you guys have full-time jobs still, or either one of you guys full-time in this business?
Yeah, we both still have full-time jobs. What's funny is all four of us had full-time jobs, and we've both been able to retire our wives just in the
Oh,
last year. Uh,
awesome.
one by choice, one sort of by choice, but a little sooner than we expected. But it's been a blessing to have both of our wives at home. And I know for me, I mean, my wife is extremely happy, to be out of her job, and I know Lance's wife is as well. So yeah, Lance and I both still have jobs. Mine's probably next, but we're not there yet.
Cool. Well, dude, so let's fast forward really quick, and then we'll kind of bring people back on how you bridge the gap. So we know how you guys started. You did that first deal, took it in the shorts, and then you started to build up from there. But where are you guys now? So, what market are you guys in? It sounds like the company is U4, right? It's the power couples right there, right? You got Adam and his wife, Lance and his wife. You guys are all in the business. Are there any other people in the business, or U4 the core?
No, that's it. Just the four of us right now. So yeah, this year in 2020, we're going to do 40 deals. We might push 42 for the year, depending on how many Lance closes between now and Christmas. We'll see. We're going to be right on, $500,000 in revenue for the year. So we've come a long way in 4 years. We both feel like we're just getting started. I mean, we do 4 deals a month, and we feel like we had a bad month. So things have changed a lot from that first flip 4 years ago, and where we've come from.
Dude, I love it. So one story you shared here at Carrot Camp, you kind of walked through, and I might get the years wrong a little bit here, right? But I think it was maybe 2018 or 2017. You'd said, all right, here's where I was. We're looking to grow the business. And I want to fill this gap with you, but you're looking to grow the business, and you invested in a bunch of different things on marketing. Let's start there now. So where you are now is about 40 deals a year, $500,000 in deal gross profits. Now let's go back to when it wasn't that way, and you dropped 40K and you weren't getting a return. And I guess before you do that, dude, so the $500,000, how much money did you guys invest into the marketing to get the $500,000 in deal profits?
We're gonna end up spending about 65 in marketing.
Yep, that's a damn good return.
Yeah,
that's
it
a
is.
really good return. It's almost 10x, not quite, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
we're about $1,000 per deal is where we're
Okay,
at. So
cool.
a little bit over that now, but yeah, around there.
So let's go back to 2018, man. So kind of tell that story that you did at Carrot Camp. What did you guys dive in and do that year? What worked, what didn't work, and then we'll talk about the pivot.
Yeah. So we did that first flip in 16. That was like a 9-month process, and we had to take a break. Everybody had to take a deep breath and go, "Man, that was terrible. What are we gonna do?" But through that, we learned, or we figured out this term called a wholesaler, because we bought that house from a wholesaler. And so I spent the next 3 or 4 months figuring out what that was, researching that, and came back to Lance and said, "Okay, we're ready. We've healed from that experience there. Let's pivot a little bit, and let's see if we can wholesale some houses instead of just finding one here and there to flip." So in 17, that's what we did. We learned, we put it all together. Really didn't kick it off until the beginning of 2018, and in 2018 we started marketing, and we started, Lance, with everything. I mean, we dove into SEO, we dove into PPC. That's when I put the Carrot website up. We had a weird name at the beginning that was based on that flip that we did, previously. We went all in direct mail. I bought one of the guru's courses and went through his program. And so we were in all of it at the same time: direct mail, PPC, SEO. I didn't understand Facebook yet. Lance, what else did we do? What else? Driving for dollars.
We were paying a mentor. We were looking. I mean, there's not any stone that was left unturned. And honestly, Adam's Adam is such a great fearless leader, because Adam is one of those guys. He takes the emotion out of everything and he just puts it to numbers, and he does that with his research too. There's not an effort that is deemed not valuable if he can take something from it. And so I have to keep up with him in our conversations, because if we haven't spoken a day, which rarely happens, maybe Sundays there'll be a couple Sundays a month we won't speak, but if we haven't spoken a few hours or a few days, I'm behind with him. And so that's what got us to 2018, which we did one deal, and in my mind I felt like we did 12. I mean, we were always talking about something. I mean, how did we talk about one deal for 12 months? I don't know. And then last year, however many we did last year, I feel like it was like less than 10 or at 10. We were busy. It's all like, but that's Adam. He's always evolving. He's always critiquing himself. He wants that critique back. I'm the complete opposite of that. I do everything emotionally. I do everything on the highs of winning. And when the moment I'm not winning, I'm losing, and I'm done. And so, but there's not there. We did the bandit signs at 3 a.m. We've done the events that people hold locally to hopefully meet some people, and then we're Ubering home for no reason. It's just been all of the things we've done.
So we did it all in 2018. We got one deal, and it actually came through PPC. This was the house in Fort Worth, Lance, as you remember. And but even though, and I'm looking at all the money we spent, and we spent $40,000 on marketing in 2018. But even though we spent that, we did that one deal, and I don't remember what month we did that, Lance. I feel like it was May.
No, it was June. It was June, because I was in Florida with the family when you basically told me you were paying me a commission check, and I'm like, this is a real business. I hung up the phone. I'm like, I'm getting a commission check. Yeah.
And that's what really we took a step there, because I realized that it is real. We can do this. We finally executed the process. We went through the entire wholesale process of getting a deal, closing it, and getting paid on it. And I'm going, okay, I know we spent a ton of money. I pulled out money out of my 401k, but all we got to do is do this again and do it again and do it again. And it's real, and it can happen. And I think we're pretty smart guys, but there's always a part of me in the back of my head that goes, man, what if I can't do this? What if I'm not the one that's supposed to do this? And so you have that fear and that emotion that maybe this is not going to work for us. And then we realized after doing just that one deal that it can be real for us too.
Dude, that's so cool. And I want to sit in this a little bit before we dive into then the pivot, right? Because you realize, man, I can do it. Lance, you got the commission check, and for you, light bulb goes off. Okay, this is real. And Adam, same thing for you. You're looking at the numbers, you're looking at the logical part of it in a big way. And you said, okay, we did it once, so therefore we can do it again. And I'm willing to bet on myself. What did you guys ever feel like quitting in that year where you dropped 40K? Let's say you were 20 G's deep and you didn't get a deal. Did you guys think about, shoot, maybe we should stop this because I'm already 20K deep?
No, but my wife almost forced us to quit. So she was looking at the numbers, not every month, but about every quarter, going, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? And we did a deal, and she goes, okay, we'll do it again. And she was still not on board then. So that was tough. But no, I never had any intentions of quitting. I mean, it was sort of, we got to do this. We got to do it. We got to be successful. We got to figure it out. So,
dude, it's one of those mindsets. I talk a lot about it on the podcast, and it's something that I had to go through as well. Because when you're losing and losing and losing, unless you're looking at it as learning, which a lot of people don't, a lot of people just look at it as losing. But if you're looking at it as learning, and without a shadow of a doubt that other people have done this, like that's the first thing I do. I go, okay, cool. The thing I'm wanting to do, have other people done this thing that I want to do that are in similar situations? Am I? If the answer is yes, especially if a lot of people have, I'm like, well, shoot, it's possible. Like I know it can happen. I just need to figure out the steps to make it happen. And I need to make sure I'm not quitting before things work. And that's where a lot of people, they'll get really wrapped around the emotional part of it instead of looking at it and going, okay, cool. Number one, have other people done this before that are similar to me? Answer is yes. Number two, I just need to find the steps. Where do I best find the steps? And then number three, what am I willing to put into it before I shift my strategy and adjust things? Because if I want to go down that path, I'm not going to stop until I figure it out, because it's a matter of not if this works, it's a matter of when it works. And that's the big mindset shift a lot of people need to make. It's not if this works. Okay. You guys right here in this call are proving that this works. Okay, you lost 40K that first year, almost 40K, but now we're going to go into what you pivoted to make, 100 or make $500,000 this year. And so it's not a matter of if this works, y'all. It's not a matter of if PPC works. It's not a matter of if SEO works or Carrot or even any of those other marketing methods that you guys tried that year. They all work, right? They all work. What we're going to do now is we're going to shift into the pivot. So you guys got that deal done. And then what did you do next? Like, did you guys say, hey, I guess I'll toss it to you. What did you guys do next to make a pivot and trim things down?
Yeah. So we, that kind of wrapped up 2018. In the end of 2018, you guys had I can't remember what you called it, Trevor, but it was the online training seminar. I can't remember what it was called, but whatever it was the
summit.
Yeah, the summit. And I was on that, pretty frustrated, just, trying to figure out what we can do different. I knew, Lance was probably a little frustrated just because we weren't closing deals. And something that Adrian said that has always stuck with me, and I remind him of this a lot, but he said, you got to be 100% all in. And I think I was 80% in, but there was still a little bit of me that maybe wasn't all in. And he said that, and it just kind of hit me really, really hard. And I took that and said, okay, what does that mean? What does that look like for us? And that helped me kind of just break everything down. And so we did. And I said, I don't care if, there's a small part of me that's always worried about the day job. That's part of that. Not putting myself out there as much as I maybe should. That's part of that. And I said, got to get rid of that. Got rid of that. And then the other part was, figure out what we're doing wrong. Let's break it all down, go back to the basics, and start much smaller. So in this area in Dallas-Fort Worth, we're talking there's 8 million people here. We were marketing to all of them. It's a huge area. I mean, it's 100 by 100 miles, 100 miles north and south, 100 east and west. That's a lot. So we broke it all down. We said, okay, let's start over. We started with a brand new website. And we started with one marketing channel. And a lot of this is based on y'all's training and, the coaching calls you guys had, and Adrian just saying, hey, you got to be all in, start a different way, start smaller, stack it on. And so that's what we did. We broke everything down. We quit doing all marketing. So the end of 18, we quit doing all the marketing and decided, okay, let's start a new website. Let's start with SEO. And that's what we did. And we started building that, and then we added PPC to it. Obviously, that takes a long time. I mean, we're not we're not getting deals month one from that. So in 2019, which is when we started all that, we did 6 deals. We did 3 wholesale deals. We flipped 2 houses, and we bought another house for rental. So we grossed about $100,000. But 70,000 of that was equity in the rental property. So we made 32,000 on the 3 wholesale deals. We spent $38,000 in marketing. So we basically we at least broke even on the marketing. Or we're to it on the wholesale marketing. So that to me was improvement. My wife was still like, this is not working. But I'm going, hey, well, this is improvement.
Let me interject there. So what happened as we're, Adam's been thinking on these numbers, and he kind of got me up to speed preparing for this call. And so as I'm kind of hearing it, I'm putting a little bit more into context. So what we learned between 2019 and 2020 and what propelled us. So we learned we identified the markets we want to market so we can strategically spend that money better. So even though we only got 6 deals, our at-bats were, exponentially, we were getting more at-bats. I don't know what our ratio was last year, like I know what it is now. But the big pivot for us, and then I'm sure this is where Adam was going next, was at the point at which you're fighting for a deal, like we were fighting for the 6 that we had, and of course 3 of which we closed on ourselves. was we learned, year 1 and 2, it was we have to get deals. We have to find sellers, right? Well, as we started finding sellers and finding the leads, we learned we're only as good as our buyer.
Okay.
So in the 6 deals we did last year, we learned how crucial it is to know the buyer, and it's almost more crucial now. We spend more time on working it backwards, so we know we can build a relationship. We know we can build trust. We now have the reviews. We have everything. But if you get outbid by $20,000, hey man, I'm glad you're our friend. You're a great guy, but $20,000 is $20,000 to a seller. And
Yep.
we didn't quite know where that percentage was because we were so focused on the front side and dealing with the seller and finding those leads that the backside wasn't taken care of. We weren't taking care of how we move this property quickly and are able to, now make that decision. Okay, we can move it, bird in the hand. I can move this for X, or we can keep it and flip it and make Y. What's the decision? Which we have the ability to do now. So that I think was really huge. And that rental that Adam talks about, it's a home run. It's gonna make this company money for a very, very long time, as many times as we wanted to. But it came because we bought it too high, and we had to close on it to avoid other situations. And we'll never be in that situation again. But that was a lesson learned over 45 days, the hard way. And thankfully Adam's put himself personally and the business in a spot to where we could deliver on that contract, which a lot of people in our space can't do, for what that house cost.
Dude, that's really good. So Lance, where are you guys getting your buyers? Where do the buyer leads come from?
I got asked that question today, and I my first answer was I literally shrugged. I was like, oh, I don't even know, but that's not the truth. We do a great job of putting ourselves out there on social media, and so anyone that is looking for deals needs guys that bring deals, right? And so Adam, we've got a great landing page. I'm sure it's a Carrot site. I know it is. Where they fill out that information. And then from there, we're trying to, and we need to get better at engaging that. So we've got, I would like to say a list of, I don't know, hundreds. Okay. But if I'm being completely candid and honest with you, I know 20 of them, and I know where they buy, how they buy. And then of that 20, I've got 10 to 12 that I'm like, pocket deal, man, let's go. And I would love for that 10 to 12 to be more, and it's going to have to be as we grow. But where we're getting them from is kind of everywhere. Where we're keeping them is how we buy properties. Where we're keeping them is how we do business. There's big dogs in this market that can hold showings, raise prices, and we're not there yet. We don't care to be, because I would rather, Trevor, know exactly what you're looking for, where you want it. And you know what? I've got a seller that I'm helping them get down the road, whether that's a personal tragedy, whether they've inherited this home, whatever. We are so seller focused that as long as I can keep this company in business and keep my investors happy, I'm gonna make that deal come together. And yes, am I willing to leave $5-6 grand on the table to not bid it up, to make sure Trevor takes care of it, because I know Trevor closes, to where the seller knows they don't have to have 35 people run through this property that means so much to them for numerous reasons. We're going to do that every time. And so we're very seller focused as much as we are buyer focused, but you have to play both sides of it in the transaction, and that's my job. So I don't know if I answered your question, but we're getting them everywhere, and we're just trying to engage them as we really find the time.
Cool.
Yeah, we do get a lot from Facebook, but I would say if I could go back or teach myself starting out, I would say develop the buyers list first. Before you even market to a seller, find some buyers and find out what they're looking for first before you even go look for a deal, and find out, what they think it would take to get a deal. If I knew that in 2018, we probably would have spent half the money marketing that we did.
Dude, that's a really good point. So I was looking at your guys' site, one of your Carrot sites. You guys have 3 Carrot sites. I think they're all seller sites, even like in different parts of the parts of the area or different focuses. And you guys get dozens of leads every single month now. And so let's kind of talk about, you made the shift, you focus on SEO, and that's the playbook, guys and gals. Like, that's what we say. If you guys want to move away from the marketing hamster wheel, like they were in 2018, they were doing all the things, right? And kind of really spreading it thin. And a lot of the marketing that they were doing would only work while they do the marketing. Direct mail only works while you do that. And then the result trickles away. You got to send another direct mail push out. But when you do SEO and you put content online and you amplify it with paid marketing, that's something that continues to build momentum and get better and better. And so as you guys headed into 2020, like, so you said you guys would do 40 deals this year. Last year you did sub 10, it sounds like. What was the big difference there, Adam, as far as the momentum that you'd got there?
Yeah. So one thing we did, we got a real estate license. So the end of 2019, I said, let's get it done. So we have that. We got that, and that's opened the doors up for some retail stuff for us. But one of the things that Lance and I always have to sort of protect against, and he's good at explaining this, is just not getting on that hamster wheel again. Because I keep trying to get on it. I keep trying to get on the direct mail hamster wheel, and he keeps saying no, no, no. Explain to everybody, Lance, what we talk about there and how that looks like for us.
Yeah, and it can be frustrating for me personally and for Adam, because this business, even though it's very competitive, there's a lot to learn from some of our great competitors, right? And because of social media, a lot of them peel back the curtains on the deals they're getting, and we're one of those types of companies that pride ourselves on just being good dudes, right? We're the home buying guys. We're good dudes. Whether you're a competitor, whether you're a seller, whether you're a buyer, we're always going to value a relationship over a dollar sign every which way. And so through Instagram, there's a couple that I go back and forth with, and there's some very small players out there that have a ton of success in mailers, and I can't figure it out. Adam can't figure it out, and I know it hurts Adam's pride that we can't figure it out, because it's just one of those things, but it does not work for us. And then too, that same little guy that I know works for him, right? And we pride ourselves on being the little guys, right? The underdogs, I guess, because we don't have $100,000 to spend a month to hope one person opens a postcard, and I can't send 7 months worth of mail to someone without an ROI that's doesn't involve a decimal, and so I need a round number at some point. And so we've had to just really look at what works for us. And the thing that's great about Adam and how we're running this business is, yes, we both work full time. We both have we have a successful real estate business that is a full time in itself. But do we want to get good at processes that allow this to be just as much of a job as we already have, or do we want to get good at processes that allow us to scale this to when, as our marketing has developed, as our social media presence has developed, as things that we're able to get trademarked, as the publicity we're getting, we can expand into other markets and simply flip a switch. And that's where Adam is transcendent upon small business owners, because I promise you, there's not a small business owner in the world that has voice recorded processes on things that only he does. But if he had to hire a VA right now in an hour, that person could be up and running based on the processes we've outlined. And so, or Adam's outline, I say we. I'm just guilty by association. But that is the spirit of our business. It's taking the processes that we want to be a part of the future. We think the future is SEO. We think the future is social network engagement. We know mailers work. We know bandit signs work. It hasn't worked for us. And so we've moved away from it. And yes, we're faced with the task of 2021 of doubling our business. We need 100 deals. We have to. Well, we know what our ratios are. So that means we need twice the leads. And so it's so hard to get back to where Adam was going on the rat reel to not dive into the mailer game, to not dive into, running across traffic at 2 a.m. on a Thursday night or Thursday morning, so it's hard, but you just have to know what works for you. And I don't know why that doesn't work for us. We've followed all the classes, we've done all the things, we've paid all the money, but it hasn't. And so we've moved away from it.
And that's one of the cool things about it too. And that's why I went all in Evergreen, 7 or 8 years ago, SEO, and then amplify it with paid. That's kind of my gig. SEO, because that's where your steady stream of the most motivated people are going to be. that's consistent, it's predictable. It takes a while and it takes a little bit more work. So a lot of people are not willing to do it. And one thing I want to bring up here is we've had Brian Rockwell on the podcast several times. He's in Dallas Fort Worth as well. We've had Cassie and RJ Bates, Cassie and Haas, RJ Bates. He's in Dallas. We've had other people on the podcast and tons of other customers down in Dallas, right? And one of the things that especially newer investors or even some of the bigger ones will come in and say is, well, number one, Brian Rockwell's already got number one ranking in Dallas. I can't compete. He's been there for few years before me. Or it's some other excuse like that. And one of the things I love about your guys' story is, number one, you came in not just after Rockwell, who had already been in your market and getting number one rankings, but after dozens, if not hundreds of other Carrot members in that market, and completely obliterated that objection or bottleneck, or that objection in people's minds, that because someone is already there, because there's other Carrot customers there, therefore I can't get a result. Guys, they came in after hundreds of other people were there, and after Brian Rockwell has been there, crushing it, earning multiple six figures a year, $600,000-$700,000 a year, and buying big multifamily now. They are coming in and winning in the same market. So did that cross your mind at all, Adam, as you guys were looking to spin things up, that, man, well, there's a bunch of Carrot sites there, or Rockwell's already there? Did you think that was going to put you at a disadvantage?
Yeah, a little bit, but I've kind of always had the mindset that, if you give me enough time, I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna figure out how to be successful with it. I probably won't be the fastest, but I'll figure it out eventually.
Yep.
And the other thing is, a market like this, there are thousands of deals that happen. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand is because they're not out on the open, they're not public, or how many deals are actually out there for people. It's an abundance mentality. There's enough room for Brian and us and RJ and 100 other people to come in here and do deals.
Yep.
And there are a couple people, we're getting some people reaching out to us that are trying to learn this and trying to learn what wholesaling is almost every week now. And that's, one guy mentioned the other day, he goes, well, I just didn't want to tell you much because I'm actually starting my business in Tarrant County, which is here locally. And I said, dude, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. Let me know if I can help. I'm not worried about you competing with us. There's room for everybody up here. We can all help each other. We can all, share in the success together. And there are times where, he may not be able to close on something that we have a little unique strategy that we can, and vice versa. And there's, not two wholesalers are generally not alike. So there's more to gain if we work as a group together than we all are competing with each other. And so, that didn't last long for me.
I love it, dude. I want to dive in a couple tactical things before we tie this into a bow. So I've got your site pulled up on my end in here, and I'm looking at your leads. I'm looking at the rankings. I'm looking at all that kind of stuff. And so you guys are ranked really, really high in Google for a lot of stuff now. You're ranked number one in Google for a lot of phrases in Dallas, top 5, top 10. Kind of what was the process you took there, Adam? Did you hire someone to do that? Did you do the work yourself? Kind of what did you choose to do to get that result?
Yeah, so in 2018, our first site, I did it all myself. I went through the 3 leads per day training you guys put on. I researched everything. And we didn't have a lot of leads coming in, right? We did 1 deal. So I had time to do that. So we built a site. It was called Hilltop Homes. And that was our first site. It looked terrible. The design was terrible. I mean, it just was terrible. So 2019, we decided, let's tear it down. I actually I hired a guy who is pretty well known now, Gerald, in the SEO world, Gerald Nordham, and he helped me build our site number 2. And that was what we still have today, which is We Buy Houses Fast in Dallas, that website. So he helped me build that. I still built it, but with his guidance and with a lot of his expertise, and the Carrot staff as well. I mean, they answer questions. I mean, literally probably almost every day. I talked to Jake almost every day for 6 months. And so that's the one that we still use, and we tweak it a little bit here and there, but that's where we started. I mean, I did it all from writing the content to figuring out how to put pictures on there and doing all that. And then you guys changed the back end format with the new website builder, and had to figure that out. And so, I did it all myself. And then just recently, And that's all great when you're not doing a ton of deals. But then when the deals start coming and you're working deals and you're looking at houses and you're busy flipping houses and doing that, it's hard to do all of the SEO and learn it. And so I kind of tapped out. And so in the end of 2019, when we started looking at building the new site for home buying guys, I said, let's hire it out. I can't really spend the time on it anymore. And we decided to come to you guys and have you guys build that site. And at the same time, the SEO part, again, I did it all myself, tried to learn it. And I kind of tapped out, at a very basic level, but we ranked for, 2 or 3 keywords. And I literally didn't have anything. I couldn't figure anything else out. I didn't know how to go broad on ranking for more keywords. My knowledge was tapped out.
Mm-hmm.
I hired a guy, pretty well named Adrian to take it on from there. And, at some point, yeah, would I've loved to have hired that all out sooner? Yes, but I've sort of always had the mindset of learning something before I hire it out, just so I understand it. And so again, maybe it took us longer than it should have, but that's my process, and I want to understand at least a good. I don't need to know everything, but I want to know at least enough to talk to somebody about it before I hand it off. And so today we have somebody doing our SEO, we have somebody doing most of our marketing. You guys have built our new Carrot site, so there's not a lot left for me to do except push.
Dude, and here's the thing, it's an evolution, right? Like, so I'm in the back end of your site. I'm not going to show this to people, but I'm looking at the lead manager, and seller lead came in 5 hours ago. That came from a Google paid ad. A seller lead came in 9 hours ago. That was from a Google search. A couple days ago, Google, and these are just opt-ins. These don't include any phone calls that came in, guys. So then a paid ad, then a Google search, Facebook, Google search. And so Google search is definitely, at least in that page, the majority of the leads, but it's not like, way flopped over to where it's all Google, but like one Google paid ad, right? And it's a good mix. It's you added on the SEO at the start. You knew it was a long-term strategy. You knew you were wanting to kind of bake in that consistency, that evergreen, because you tried the hamster wheel in a big way. You tried all the hamster wheels. You got on all of them, man, like that first year. And then you said, okay, cool, but I also want to get results quick. I can't just wait 8, 10, 12, 14 months to get the SEO to pick up in a Dallas market. So then you got Google pay-per-click going. You started to get some deals closing there. SEO started to pick up. And now you've got the good mix of all those. Now you have Facebook added on it as well. And guys, That's the plan. Like, that's the strategy. A lot of people try to overcomplicate it. And the way that they overcomplicate it is they're getting into the emotion versus the logic, right? They're going with emotion versus math. And when we say, especially in a big market, you should be in it for a minimum of a year before you ever think about changing anything. A lot of people launch the Carrot site. They might make a couple adjustments to it, and then they do a couple things SEO wise. They'll buy the 3 lead per day training for the $100. They'll do a couple things SEO wise, and then in 3 months or 4 months, they didn't get to page 1 or whatever, and they're like, oh, this doesn't work. I'm going to go do something else. But you put your head down, you did the work, you learned it, and then as soon as you started to get more revenue, and you're like, right, I'm going to hire that out, buy more of my time, pull back more. And now you guys are pushing 40 deals this year and $500,000 in revenue, and about 18 to 24 months that completely turned around, which is crazy cool.
And let me speak on that for you, Trevor, because I've got a great example of what you just said. So, Adam is the definition of slow and steady wins the race. He puts the same consistent effort. We put the same consistent budget. He put, the mix of leads you just rattled off. You see the diversity and the consistent effort. And we've been doing this in that fashion for well over a year, and exactly how you just mentioned. Well, I'm the opposite. I'm not Adam. I'm emotionally drained by this business. I want every lead to be the one that is worth $100,000 to the company, and whatever my cut of that is, and blah blah blah. And every lead I treat with a level of excitement that only a letdown is imminent, right? Well, I never really show that through to Adam. I mean, we know where we're going and what, but there was a stretch toward the end of September to the middle of October where we know our ratios this year. And right now in the matter of transparency, we are, for every 10 leads we get, we will close 1. It is tried and true. That is our ratio right now. So every time we go see one, I'm like, oh, closer to the next one, right? And Adam's taught me that. It's all about the math. Well, at this point, the last week of September, the first 2 weeks of October, we're like on lead 29, and he can tell I'm frustrated. He can tell I've not lost the vision or the hope, but I'm dragging.
Mhm.
And so literally he's like, what can we do? What do you want me to do? He's showing me all the metrics that everything is in place just like it has been. Well, lo and behold, if the next 3 leads that we get in, we don't close.
Hmm.
I mean, 2 in 1 weekend. I was coaching baseball. I literally went there and what I coached my son's 14U baseball team in and closed the contract. And then the next one on Monday morning, and the next one Monday at noon. And so it literally reset us by the middle of October. We hadn't had a deal in 3 weeks. It literally reset us for exactly 3 deals and 30 leads. And there's such a testament to everything you just said and everything Adam has put into place. And you just have to stay consistent over time. And hopefully next year it's 1 in 10, but we're seeing 100 leads a month, not versus 40, right? It's eye opening to me because I don't like to follow the math. That's not fun for me. I'm an emotional guy.
Trevor, you mentioned that, and for the newer people out there, you have to do it long enough to see the ratios appear, and that's coming from Jim Rome. You guys, if you don't know him, you should look him up and read his stuff. But you've got to do it long enough for the ratios to appear in your marketing, and it will eventually.
Yep.
No matter what marketing you're doing, whether it's direct mail, PPC, SEO, Facebook. You've got to do it long enough for the ratio to appear between the number of leads and the number of deals you close. And then once you have that ratio, all you got to do is duplicate that and work to improve that. And that's what we've done.
I love it, guys. This has been a blast. I could honestly do this with you guys for another hour and like take a ton of Q&A. So we'll wrap it with this. I'm going to give a quick recap, and then I've got a couple questions. And man, I so appreciate your guys' time. So the recap is this, y'all. Number one, they had a vision, they had a dream, and I love that you guys are partners on this. And you're the yin to the yang. Like it's so cool because oftentimes businesses don't work unless you have someone who's able to do that. Brian Rockwell is a good example too. He's the guy who was very similar to Adam Mitchell in that market. Then he had a business partner who was the salesperson. And so if you guys are struggling to do the business yourself, find out why. What skill are you missing? Is there someone you need to partner up with and you guys can be better together than apart? Number two, Adam went out there and tested a lot of marketing methods, and he did the shotgun approach. What I suggest is hyper focusing in on getting really good at one thing, and make sure that you find a good example of, can other people make this work in my market? We know what we're talking about here: SEO, PPC, amplifying it with Facebook, and then go test and try more outbound works great. And so he did that, and he locked in with a long-term mindset. Hey, I know it's not going to happen immediately. I'm going to do the SEO. And I'm going to do that until I'm able to hand it off to somebody else. But then I'm going to get some Google paid ads coming in right now to start to close some deals. They're closing deals for I think it's about $1,000 per deal is what a deal is costing you guys right now with these methods. Closing 1 in 10 of these types of leads into a deal. When we talk about the quality, a lot of people talk about the number of leads, right? But when you're doing cold calling or direct mail, you might get 40 leads turns into a deal in direct mail. So that means you got to hustle a lot more on calls, and you might have to have a bigger staff or work more for the same money. And so 1 in 10 turns into a deal here. And then as you guys get more and more of the retail stuff, you can take some of those and peel them off to listings, right? And so a question for you guys here. What are you guys doing moving into 2021 differently? Is there anything you're going to amplify to try to grow the company?
Yeah, so we kind of looked at how do we get to 100 leads a month, and how are we able to close 8 to 10 deals a month? And aside from getting on that other hamster wheel, doing direct mail and going deeper in Dallas, we've opted to expand to some other markets that we can drive to.
Yep.
So we created a new website, which is homebuyingguys.com. And that site is going to be geared towards other markets like Oklahoma City is where we're going in 2 weeks. Other cities in Texas, mainly Texas and Oklahoma is where we're going to start. But the site was built without a city-specific page. So, if we decide we want to go to Missouri or wherever we go, that's where we're going next. So we're going to expand to some other cities here locally first, and then kind of see where that takes us.
Yep.
And so that's what we've been working on the back end. And we're looking to just help more homeowners. We're looking to do more deals. We feel like we can bring, our abilities and our level of transparency to other markets.
Hmm.
And that's what we're excited about. And ultimately, we want to get into some multifamily and stuff like that. But that's kind of, on the personal side.
Cool. And that's a perfect path, right? A lot of people do, you got to do wholesaling usually for a means to an end. It's not usually the career that someone wants to do for 20 years. It's an amazing cash producer. You take that cash and put it into evergreen assets to kick you off cash. So last question for you right here, talking about Carrot. So Carrot right now is kind of the core of your marketing. It's the core of your business that's producing the leads. You're producing the leads. Carrot's just the tool that you're using to do that. Dude, number one, why are you using Carrot instead of using like a custom website? And then number two, or any of our competitors. And then number two, what would you tell someone if they're looking at Carrot versus another tool, or even Carrot and nothing else? What would you tell them about diving in and leveraging this tool?
Yeah, when I looked at Carrot, I really didn't look at anything else. That's what the guru recommended. I looked at it and it looked great. I mean, I thought it was an easy way to get started with having a website. And so once I kind of launched it and got into it, got to know it, you guys are great. And I've told you this before, Trevor, that the more that you guys do, we're going to be a part of it, because that's everything you guys do really, really well. And so whatever that looks like, we're going to be involved in that. You guys just do a great job with the website, helping us improve different things with our marketing, and all the basic technical details of the website are taken care of. We don't have to mess with it. So yeah, if you don't have a Carrot website and you're in this industry, you need to get one.
Cool. Well, dude, guys, I appreciate the heck out of you guys coming on here. It's a blast. I know you guys are a little bit later on your side, and maybe we can come back and do it again and dive into some really tactical stuff. But I'm so proud of you guys. Number one, like if you're to look at why I'm in business personally, there's a lot of reasons and a lot of things I could do other than this, but I absolutely love waking up to work and helping to unleash entrepreneurs so they can do things that they enjoy more, so they can do things that have a greater impact and help you get more freedom. And you guys are on that path. I love it. And I want everyone to watch this, listen to this episode of the Carrotcast, and use it for inspiration. Don't just use it for being education you don't do anything with. Use it for inspiration and go and execute and apply the exact same strategy. What I want to see people listening to here is there's a playbook that works, and it works over and over and over and over and over. And I could do that 10,000 times over. If you guys look at the Brian Rockwell interview, look at this one, look at all the ones I've done, almost all of them use almost the exact same path. And then they have their own flavor to it, right? RJ and Cassie are amazing at direct mail. They're amazing at buying leads from batch leads, all those kinds of things. Okay. But they all have this at the core, and then they keep on adding more things if they want to increase volume, or they go to different markets. So guys, appreciate the heck out of you. Very proud of you guys. Lance, we need to get you hooked up with some Carrot swag too. Adam's got the water bottle. He's got all the stuff. So we need to get you hooked up.
Yeah. I didn't realize I wasn't using sponsored equipment or this interview.
We need to get you hooked up, but thank you guys very much. We don't have time for Q&A right now, y'all. I've got to bounce to my next session with my mentor, Seth. But thank you guys. Very proud of you. And I want people to go and give a rating and review on the Apple Podcasts or in YouTube, and subscribe to us to get more amazing stories like this. Any parting words, guys?
Man, Trevor, we just appreciate you. And like I mentioned when I was at Carrot Camp, we need you to keep pushing so that you keep pushing us and taking us with you. And so keep growing, keep doing your thing, and improving everything that you offer, because we want to be a part of that. And I know Lance wants to come to one of the future Carrot Camps, so we'll definitely be back to see you guys, and really appreciate you having us on.
Awesome. Thank you.
And let me just say one thing, man. I'm a complete outsider to this relationship. I didn't get to go to Carrot Camp this year. I've been a complete soundboard for Adam when he gets off your calls. I've been a complete soundboard for Adam when he's frustrated with part of our marketing, our system, our complete, catch-all for leads and how we make money. And he's able to access you guys so freely. But the thing that was really cool about us having lunch the day after he got back from Carrot Camp was, yes, we talked about how we were going to grow in 2021. Yes, we talked about how you guys empowered Adam and our business from an entrepreneurial standpoint, and from knowing this business inside and out. But that was only 2/3, if that, of Carrot Camp. It's about being a good man. It's about being a good person. It's about being healthy. It's about taking what I like to call a triple-double lifestyle. Life's not about points. You gotta have rebounds. You gotta have assists, and you guys woke up every day and went got a workout in. You guys had speakers there that talked more about quality of life versus just success in business. And that's where we're trying to take this business personally. Not, and so to have that support from the business standpoint, from the entrepreneurial standpoint, but also from just being good dudes standpoint, which is one of the things we pride ourselves on. That's why I'm excited that Adam has hooked our wagon to you guys, and it's all past the sniff test from an outsider looking in. So I'm just excited to do more with you guys.
Awesome, guy. That means a lot, man. That means a lot. I can't wait to meet you, Lance, hopefully soon at a Carrot Camp and get you guys back up here. Guys, awesome. Appreciate you. Have an amazing rest of the night. Everyone watching this, go take action. Go do something that you learned here, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Bye, guys.